In 1960s or 70s, he came up with the idea how to replicate a human brain, how to understand a human mind. And now it has learned way more than any human individually knows, as well as 99% of collectively what all humans know.
Supposing they're fighting with each other, and let's presume the human beings are good and they are bad.
Big presumption. Yeah, go on.
Big presumption. Big presumption.
Go on.
Hello, I'm Vivek Atray, and I'm in conversation with Kunal Nandwani today, and he's the author of Techtopia. He's a big thinker and a very enlightened individual. Good to meet you, Kunal.
Great to see you, sir.
So we are here to talk about your book, and we are here to talk about the future and the present, not much about the past, I guess. So should we get the past out of the way first?
Sure.
Let's do that then.
Sure.
What are your views? Where are we at present?
So I think one of the interesting things that's happened is that artificial intelligence that we are now seeing with ChatGPT especially, that has made a big difference. That in November, it came out in November 22. And since then, the AI world and the future has started to look very different. This is almost like before Christ and AD and BC. This is almost like before AI and after AI. Yeah. And I think I would like to highlight why it has come out now, why ChatGPT has become possible now. So as a quick history, Geoffrey Hinton, one of the founding fathers, considered as founding fathers of artificial intelligence, in 1960s or 70s, he came up with the idea how to replicate a human brain, how to understand a human mind. And the only way possible he found was to create an artificial neural network, develop it in a way, train it in a way, and see if it can replicate the human mind. But in 60s, 70s, the compute power was not there. The data was not there. It didn't work. For decades, people thought he was crazy. But then what happened is that since between 2000 and 2020, one of the things has happened. Because of internet, all of us collectively, whatever we know, we have put it on internet in the name of doing commerce.
Right.
All collective knowledge, whatever you know, whatever
Not
I know.
Even commerce, we just love to put it out there.
We just love to put it out there in form of information sharing. Eventually, commerce driving the creation, curation, and distribution of content.
Right.
And compute powers became much more powerful and accessible. With that, ChatGPT, one of the products formed by OpenAI, between 2015 and 2022, in 7 years, it learned everything that was on internet.
Yeah.
And it is a neural network of hundreds of billions of transistors, neurons, nodes that humans' brain also mimic. And now it has learned way more than any human individually knows, as well as 99% of collectively what all humans know. And when you leave such a technology to interface with the humans, you can ask it any question. You can ask it to, as an example, write a Shakespeare-like story in the song format of Jagjit Singh. It can do it.
I know it can do
right?
it.
You can ask it to paint something which replicates symphonies of Mozart and look like Dali's paintings. It can do things we cannot even imagine. So collective human knowledge has gone in. This AI is next level. It's only been 8-9 months. It's only 8-9 months, but it's, yeah.
John, sorry to interrupt. So the thing is that, firstly, rightly said, we put everything out there, and now we have something which taps into that everything
Correct.
and presents it to us as we want it, which was not there before. And now in 8-9 months, it's evolving. Next level is coming. But I'm not asking where we're headed yet. Where are we at present in this evolutionary phase?
So this evolution of AI-led world, it is just the beginning. It is, call it a day zero. Before this was whatever. This is day zero. Every day, this technology is interfacing with billions of humans. There are 8 billion people. Hundreds of millions are interacting with ChatGPT every day. And not just ChatGPT, it's one of the famous ones, early ones, but there are many more. There are many more. Amazon, Facebook, they all have their AIs, they're coming out. All these AIs will get smarter by the day by talking to a billion people. You and I speak, we both learn something from each other. We both consciously evolve.
Right.
Imagine you and I could speak with a billion people and selectively evolve. This is just the beginning. It's just till adolescence or the...
Just to interrupt. So human beings are interacting with the internet, with technology, with ChatGPT, with its avatars. But human beings are still human beings until they are replaced by automatons So we come to another factor, which is at the same time AI is developing, and human beings are also likely to get some chips into their bodies, brains, wherever, and become semi-automated. And then the level of feelings. Now let's come to emotions, feelings, understanding each other, which AI at present may be lagging behind at the moment. But then the gap reduces because we become feeling less, and that becomes more evolved. So do you think that is also coming, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere. So they call it as a point of singularity is when machines become smarter than humans or more evolved than humans.
Yeah.
Now, arguably that is happening, that humans are not evolving any faster, any better. Arguably, we are going through the Kali Yuga, as we call it, and it's, with all due optimism, we're still towards a demise. We are not doing as well collectively as a society, as humanity. We have tons of challenges. So we are evolving, developing in some way, but spiritually and many other ways, we are actually going backwards. We are not really evolving. So it's not just that machines are evolving, but humans are also dumbing down, with all due respect, right? As a point of argument.
I have a viewpoint on this,
yes.
But you carry on first.
Yeah. And feeling eventually is at the end release of something in our brain. One of the chemical reactions. You say something good to me, I feel good. You say something bad, I may feel bad. But beyond a point, it's all analytics, it's all data, it's all logic. Logic is leading to some reaction in a complicated thing, and we can't explain it, so we say it's a feeling.
So I have read some spiritual writings, and there is a book called The Holy Science by Yukteswar Giri, who is the guru of Paramahansa Yoga, and the author of Autobiography of a Yogi. So he says actually that Kali Yuga started long ago, but ended in the 1770s. I'll tell you why he says that. He says when electricity later and printing press and technology started developing, modernization started, inventions were rapidly coming into human existence, knowledge was spreading, humanity was evolving. And that Kali Yuga of the past, now you look at today, people are not really killing each other all the time.
Correct.
It's not like it's the survival of the fittest at the moment, that you can't walk on the road, somebody might kill you. It's a rare thing. Even in downtown, wherever, you can survive walking down the street. Now the point is that Kali Yuga, if it's gone in 1770, let's presume, it's only 250 years since then now. And we are still another 4,800 years into that Dwapar Yuga, as they call it, the next Yuga. Now this has just started. And the vestiges of Kali Yuga are still there. So that's why what you say, human beings are iffy. Their character is iffy. Their behavior is bad at times. They're still angry and petty and, but in my reading and my understanding, they may still be like that, but they're not dipping any further. They're actually going up and evolving. Because knowledge is evolving, it's not possible that human behavior will go down. Because progress overall has to be uniform in there may be aberrations. There may be people even today who are beyond Dwapar Yuga.
Correct.
Who are saintly, who are godly, who are magnanimous, good-hearted, etc. But there are going to be people even in the next Yuga who are Kali Yugi.
Correct.
In that sense.
Possible.
So it's a mixed bag.
Correct.
But technology is not a mixed bag.
Correct.
Wherever the frontier has come, all the platforms will catch up there. So it's not going back to Fortran and whatever, floppy disks, etc. We're not going there. So here we are evolving. Humans are also evolving. If you look at the youngsters, children, they're taller. I mean, generally, fair, good-looking, brainy. And the human species is generally evolving to better human beings. May not be good at heart yet, but there are things which are... So just to put my opinion that technology is rapidly evolving. Human beings are also evolving. And there may come still a stage where technology overtakes human beings. That is still possible. So
Correct.
There I agree with you.
Sure. So I think what you've said is a perspective which makes sense. The slight other angle to this, and there could be multiple possibilities and perspectives. One other possibility that I think about more is that depending on how we look at the objective of life, why are we all here? There is a material world we live in, capitalistic, however we live, and there's an inside world, outside world and inside world. inside we are not exploring anymore. We are not meditating more. We are not evolving spiritually. We are not connecting with the divine. We are losing, and that starts at education, early days of gurukuls, how it used to be. Now it's all, we are training people from the word go, 2 plus 2 is 4, so they are prepared for a job. The job could be, used to be in factories, now it's in computer engineers, whatever, all the jobs.
Gurukul, nowadays we have cool gurus.
Yeah.
Gurukuls.
So they are cool because they have million followers somewhere, right? Now, that's all external. Inner world, we are not exploring. When I say we are not evolving, external world, we are evolving. We're doing well. There are pros and cons there. There's a black mirror side to it. There's a dark side. So if you think about, we can argue that we are very well connected with billions of people thanks to Facebook and platforms alike. But equally, I think this could be easily argued that we've destroyed generations irreversibly over the last 2 decades thanks to Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram. We are hooked on to looking at others' pictures, trying to pretend a life. Overuse, right?
Yeah.
So there are both sides. It's development until it's not. And I think one of the discussion that we did on a similar topic recently was, we have not gotten a way to draw the line and say, this is enough. I have enough. Material side is enough. I need to figure out balance it out with the inner and external life. So like you quoted Yukteswar ji, and very enlightened soul for sure. Sri Aurobindo used to say that there's an inner and external life, and the balance between the two is the integral yoga.
Absolutely.
Of the mind, right? So that evolution is where I'm saying we are not evolving at all. We're becoming way more materialistic.
We're becoming more materialistic that way, more externalized.
Exactly.
But we are talking about this. There are people somewhere who are also talking about it. There may be people who are driven towards going inward because of depression, because of setbacks, obstacles in life, which is ultimately what human beings do. When they find difficulties, then they go inward and God and everything, right? When the exam results are there, then everyone prays.
Yeah.
So that difficulty is leading people towards the inner life.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. This is a very materialistic era.
Correct.
We are more intelligent. We have, but our feelings, our emotions, and even if you look at breakups, relationships, they are not as respectful as they used to.
Correct.
The public space is vitiated by politicians and social media, etc.
Yeah.
So there is this mixed bag of people technically evolving. Technically means biologically, even
financially,
economically, resources, comforts. But at the same time, the public space is dipping.
Yeah. So I was giving an example, I think at the risk of repeating. Imagine there was an experiment done with a few monkeys in a cage. They gave 12 bananas to 5 monkeys. One of them took 11 away. Others had to split one and fight between them and with that. And the scientists actually did experiment on that monkey's brain. How is it taking 11 bananas and not leaving enough for the rest? In humans, we put the person on the Forbes magazine who becomes a billionaire. Right?
Right.
So it's just, I don't think we don't have food for 8 billion people. No. I think the problem is we have an allocation problem. We don't know when you become rich enough, how do you redistribute? It's an allocation of resources, reallocation. So that ways, when I say collective humanity, drawing the line when enough is enough, whether it's scrolling feeds on Facebook, or whether it's eating food, or whether it's drinking, whether it's smoking, whether it's playing games, whether it's whatever it is, or watching TV, that's where I think we are lacking. Though arguably we have more time, we have more abilities, we have more resources, but still we are all still running, still stressed.
We have more resources, but we don't have more time because we choose to occupy us.
Correct.
We are always overthinking, always on.
Yeah.
But you're a deep thinker. We must raise this topic.
Yeah.
In this era of 2023 now, evolving, let's say, another 20 years, 40 years, 100 years, with technology seeping in more, gadgets becoming part of us virtually, how do we retain that human element, human relationships, human understanding, this conversation over coffee? How do we retain the humanity and its qualities?
So, I'll answer this in 2 ways. One related to the book, and second generally. I think number one, if you think about AI, quantum computing, some virtual reality worlds like metaverse, these coming in together, next 5 to 10 years, the world is going to look very different. And I'll repeat the first point I said. last 100 years in the 20th century, we did more development than we did in the previous 2000 years. Last 20 years, we developed more than in the last 100 years. Next 5 to 10 years, we're going to develop way more because this becomes exponential. This becomes ubiquitous. You have like a lot of things happening. So in this, likelihood of humans still in 2 decades time being able to sit like this, live like this is very unlikely. We are more likely to be in a virtual world. We might have uploaded our consciousness on internet. We might be living remotely or somewhere if we survive that long or whatever happens. I'm exploring all possibilities. I also don't know like everyone else, but I'm exploring these in the book. For humans to stay relevant, not get misaligned with AI, which is also a likely possibility. I have a full chapter, second last chapter is on this, why AI and humans will misalign. And there are tons of examples. The only way we can stay conscious and human and relevant is if we go spiritual. This is one of the exploration predictions I'm doing. If we don't go spiritual, don't go inwards, in the outside world, we'll end up becoming extinct, addicted to gaming all day long, to tech overlords like Facebooks and all, because we'll do nothing. Machines will do everything. Machines are already doing everything.
Yeah, they are.
Right? So why would we? So it's very hard to survive a human like we are living today. The world is going to look very different.
So where are we headed? And how soon are we headed for apocalypse? What is going to happen? When is AI going to become the whole world and we become subjugated to that?
So this is one of the reasons I try to write this book, to explore myself. I didn't know a year ago when I had this topic. All I could see in the world was that everyone talks about next quarter, next year, this AI will make this much money, that Facebook virtual reality will do this quantum computing will do this, etc. Tons of things. And then there were sci-fi movies showing 2050, 2040, 2060, how the world goes dystopian. It's all negative. Machines take over. There are tons of books and movies on that. I wanted to figure out how this may happen, what will go through, what is the process from 1 to 20 years or 30 years. I think there are tons of possibilities, quantum, not 0 or 1. There are quantum of possibilities, infinite. Some of them are more dystopian. Machines take over, humans don't survive. It's possible. Maybe humans are left on the planet. Like we evolved from monkeys and apes. They are left in the jungles. We are now going to the moon, going to the Mars. Maybe we are left on Earth. The machines go to intergalactic spaces, interstellar travel. They figure out space much better, faster than we can. And there's a reason for it, why they will be able to do it. They are highly efficient. They are likely to continue to be highly efficient. The quantum computers of today solved a problem which took normal latest servers computing powers 47 years. It solved in seconds. So the scale of problem solving, exploration will change. So in that case, I think I'm saying 20 years or so, I guess, an educated guess, can never know. These things will converge and get into human life. Either we will become cyborgs, we are part of the machines, machines are part of us, we merge, we converge, we diverge, all that. I'm saying 20 years.
What about institutions like marriage, children, love, feelings? We are the last guys to experience this kind of thing, is it?
Let's take marriage for an example. Older days, I've heard from my parents, grandparents, they would not even look at the girl, families would decide, get married. Right? Cool. Then came next generation, they said, okay, we need to get on. Today, they would date for years, months before they choose to get married or not. The problem with marriage or any relationship, any human relationship is, we all think differently. We're not consciously evolved to respect each other's opinion. Like you said, we don't even break up respectfully. Right. I mean, you and I may have a difference of opinion, doesn't mean you are right or I'm wrong, and we could both be right in our space, right? Yeah. In marriages, the problem is the spouses think differently. They expect differently. Expectations will, hurt a lot of such relationships, and they do. Imagine a world where, look at your Facebook feed. If you are on Facebook, you can look at it all day long. It keeps showing you what you like seeing. It has figured it out. What will you learn from? What will you like? What will you comment on, etc. So Facebook's algorithm has figured out your brain more than you have yourself, or your spouse has for sure. So imagine a world in the future. You give a Boston Dynamics, is a company that makes robotic bodies. Give it a skin, give it an AI, give it a Facebook AI. Why would anybody have an organic marriage anymore? You would rather want to be with a spouse who's always in agreement with you. Made to order.
The Japanese doll.
Exactly.
You marry the doll.
The Japanese doll, you marry the doll and give it some AI, so it interacts with you, helps you figure out things, helps you teach things, consciously evolve in your way. Because one of the things we have is, as human beings, which helps our survival, is our mind and ego, which helps us survive. But beyond a point, if we take it, overdo it, then it just doesn't help us, right? It hurts us. So I think this is how I see the future of relationships.
Life is going to change absolutely unrecognizably. But the thing is that as of now, the world lives in many centuries at the same time.
Correct.
It is said about India as well.
Correct.
India lives in the 17th century still, and 21st and 22nd century.
Correct.
You are talking about next century.
Correct. Correct.
So this diversity which exists will, according to this pattern, convert to uniformity, where everybody gets what they want on demand, and therefore they're bored to hell.
Yeah.
And then they don't know what to do, and then they destroy each other, and then the machines take over.
This is what Stephen Hawking predicted, that humans, any civilization that becomes advanced enough and not conscious enough will eventually kill each other off. Argument, it's a possibility, but yeah.
Yeah, and then being spiritual is the answer. Because the spiritual scriptures would say human life is the reason why we are born in a human condition is to go within and evolve within.
Correct.
And then these externals, they're taking care of themselves anyway.
Correct.
So we don't really need to get into that.
Correct.
And then we meditate, we find the spiritual path, and then we remain superior to technology, as you said.
Correct.
So that's the only answer.
Right.
By the way, you're on Facebook. Everybody's on Instagram.
Sorry, I'm not on Facebook.
Same company.
I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. So
Same company.
Yes, same thing. Yeah.
Right. So what else? What's next? For you, this book, what are your thoughts going forward?
So, the last chapter explores some possibilities. I'm quoting some things on Sanatan Dharma, humanity, life divine from Sri Aurobindo. Some of the texts I've read, and I'm trying to give a potential future possibility. I think the last chapter itself is the next book, a follow-on.
So, let's elaborate on that.
So, there are tons of possibilities, right? If we simplify, there are machines, in simplest terms, and humans. Humans have an external life and an inner life. Now, how would all of these interface in the future? Can machines become part of humans? Can humans become part of machines? Can their inner world evolve separately? Could we have an evolution in which 8 billion people go one way, few dozens of yogis and maharishis go the other? But when they evolve spiritually, they become the Gnostic beings. This is what Sri Aurobindo has predicted. Consciously, at some stage, few decades, centuries down the line, this may happen. Could they lead to a contagion of spiritual expansion among all humanity? That is also a possibility. And we don't need like a billion people to do this. We only need a few dozens who really good inwards and actually change. This can be contagion. This can lead to a contagion. It's
fantastic contagion.
Yeah.
If you look at the children of today who are, reasonably comfortable in life, evolving very fast, their brains are working faster. It's only the direction in which they go which matters. Wrong or right, evil or good. Evil and good will still exist. So this is, according to the scripture, it's a world of duality.
Yeah.
And when we come to the machines and the human beings, supposing they're fighting with each other, and let's presume the human beings are good and they are bad.
Big presumption. Yeah, go on.
Big presumption.
Go on. Yeah.
So basically, one has to wipe out the other, but then duality has to continue.
Correct.
There can never be a victory of good over evil.
Correct.
Completely. Or evil over good. So
they say this is all for the pleasure, delight of the divine, that this play goes on.
So he or she
it's
is
a Leela,
fun.
right?
Yeah, watching us.
Yeah, at cosmic level, there's no he or she. It's just a human distinction.
He is having a great time watching entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's another quote which says, you've come to this world to entertain and be entertained.
Exactly.
But we don't know that. We go through our pains, we go through our trials. There was a talk I was listening to, supposing pain didn't exist.
Yeah.
So he says, in old times when God made human beings and there were these cavemen and the guy was standing on top of the cliff and he says, oh, let me just jump down and see how it feels. And he jumps, he's gone. And the next guy doesn't know what pain means either, so he jumps as well and he's gone. And then the divine says, oh, this won't work. I need to add pain over here. so that the guy knows that this is going to hurt me.
Yeah.
So I don't, otherwise they're killing each other or themselves.
So this is how and why we got a mind and an ego, to protect us. The mind produces pain, reproduces, recollects, everything. So the next version of humanity has become better in surviving. Now, when they survive, then the next thing is to go beyond their mind, which is by going inwards. Going beyond your mind is where most people would struggle or would not even comprehend and may not even have the calling to go there yet. Takes time.
Absolutely. But then there are very few people who have this perspective.
Yeah.
You and I are talking at a level which, I mean, very humbly, I must say, it's higher.
Yeah.
There are people out there who are clueless.
Yeah.
And they will remain clueless. And it's by virtue of education or resources. 90% of humanity may not even know what hit them. And even today, they are still talking about their nali and their pani, and because their resources are like that, their village is like that, and they have egos which are related to caste and dominance, which are still there. So they are way behind in this race.
We need the spiritual contagion. At some point, some dozens of gurus have to live in the same era. So we need Yukteswarji, Sri Aurobindo, Swami Vivekananda in the same era. Lots of them, hopefully.
Kunalji.
Well,
Why not?
and lead to the contagion. That's the best outcome for humanity.
So let's have a little bit of a rapid fire, interesting conversation, Kunal, and I'm sure you can answer in yes or no as you like. So should we love AI or fear AI?
I think we have to embrace AI. It's here.
Can machines achieve consciousness like human beings?
No. No.
Will capitalism survive AI?
Very likely not. AI will be way more efficient.
Do you think coming generations will be lonelier than we have been?
Most likely.
Do you think climate change will destroy the world or AI?
I don't know which one destroys first.
Yeah, but can climate change be combated using AI?
That's a very optimistic and good outcome if we get that. Yeah.
Who's going to win this race between human beings and machines?
So, I think humans developed AI for survival. This is the next generation. So, likely AI, unless humans go spiritual.
And you think we'll all become cyborgs sooner or later?
We already are, with one phone in our pocket, tomorrow in the brain, day after on internet, day after the chip, day after on quantum, and upload your consciousness. We don't need the bodies. Cyborg is not far away, probably a decade.
And you think we'll live on different planets?
Very likely. We or our developed AI would.
Well, we already know that we're very insignificant in the whole universe and the galaxies, if you look at them. Probably 80 billion galaxies, and we are in one of them, and then we are in Chandigarh, which is... So, I mean, we think too much of ourselves. So where are we headed according? Are we going to become that master of the universe ever?
Humans as such, no. I think we are the penultimate species. Probably the next one would. Is it AI? Is it the spiritually evolved Gnostic beings? One of them.
I think we've covered enough in this conversation to enable a lot of people to think. Yeah. At least, and that's the aim, I guess, to set that spark of flame and then, food for thought, which leads to the right results. Because if people are not even talking like this, not even thinking about ChatGPT is there, it's going to, but then I'm not bothered, then it's not going to work. So we need to get people to watch this discussion and also carry out their own discussions.
Sure, I absolutely agree. I mean, more and more people need to think about this, reflect on this, come up with ideas, spend time in putting philosophies together, predicting, and going wrong, that's okay. But this needs to be debated, because otherwise the AI will take over. We are already at a point of no return. Humans would not stand a chance if we don't even know what's happening. So it's very important to take a step back and a perspective.
Yeah, as an author, I can only congratulate you on your book, and thanks for asking me to this conversation. Lovely to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kunal.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.